Hi, got a question for you. Do you ever avoid conflict? I think like most of us, the answer is going to be a big hearty yes to that. Why do you avoid conflict? In my experience, I run into 5 major reasons that people avoid conflict. One of the reasons I avoid conflict is I don't like the feeling I have when I'm in the conflict. So I'm going to avoid that feeling because I don't like it. And what I want to help you understand is you're really not avoiding the conflict. Conflict has a tendency to follow us around. In fact, it intensifies as we don't relate to it, as we don't handle it well. All you're avoiding is that negative sense of, boy, this doesn't feel good. It's really not helping you. There's a really good book called The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. And he's doing a play off of Robert Frost had this wonderful poem talking about the path not taken. There's 2 paths. I came in the forest, there was 2 paths. One of them was really looked good, but it didn't get me where I wanted to go. The other one looked really difficult, but ultimately got me where I wanted to go. That's the gist of the poem. M. Scott Peck in his book, The Road Less Traveled, keys off on that about we need to make choices about where am I really trying to get to and what's the path there. Usually it's not the path of least resistance. It's usually not the path that feels the best. And in this situation about I don't like how I feel when I'm in conflict, I'm going to avoid those feelings, you're choosing a path that's not going to get you where you want to go. We've got to choose the path of learning how to lean into having the conflict so that we can resolve the conflict, so that we can really get to the other side. We can even do it in such a way that strengthens the relationship, doesn't pull it apart. Don't let the issue of this doesn't feel good stop you from having the conflict. Okay, so point number 2 is negative experiences. Things that have happened to me or that I've experienced in the past is framing or dictating about what I want to do here in the future. And they're so negative, what I'm going to do is make sure that never happens again. I'm not going to get involved in conflict because of how painful that was back there. And I just want to challenge you, be careful about that. Don't let your past experience dictate to you and have you go down this path that's not going to be helpful for you. The truth is, conflict is around us. In relationships, in a work environment, in families, us learning how to better relate to it and lean into it and not let what happened back there frame exactly how we're going to do for it. Reach for a future that's better. Reach for the ability, develop the skill set, lean into the ability to have conflict. We cannot avoid it. We need to move forward with it. Don't let your past frame how you're going to deal with it. Don't let your past dictate to you to avoid conflict. That's not going to be helpful for you in the long run. Okay, so now point 3 is the reason I avoid conflict is because there's so much at risk. I could destroy a relationship. I could affect my career. I'm going to avoid the conflict because it's so risky, because it really might not go well. And again, I just want to encourage you and challenge you about be careful of that thought process. Life is full of risk. It's everywhere. What I need to learn how to do is manage risk, not avoid risk. Because avoiding risk will take you to places you don't want to go. And it's just not possible to do. There's risk there. And so how do I manage that risk? I learn how to manage my heart. I learn how to have a skill set. I learn how to be more effective in the conflict so that I can even get it to a place of resolution. Be careful about saying, you know what, because there's risk, I'm going to avoid it. Not helpful. Life is full of risk. Learn how to manage risk. Don't avoid risk. Okay, now point 4 about why a lot of people avoid conflict is this issue about, you know what, no good thing comes out of conflict. Now again, it's our experience maybe that's dictating this point, but people don't realize just how much benefit can come out of conflict. The first one is the issue of you learning how to get a voice. In a place of conflict is one of the best environments for you to learn how to have the courage to start saying what you're really thinking. And it is so critical to your happiness and to your success that you get a voice. And so that's a really positive thing that can come out of conflict. The next point is the issue about, I want to get better at understanding others. And in a conflict is a great environment to learn how to do that. That, you know what, people are wired different than you. They have different thought processes. They do things for different reasons. And me learning how to make room for that and to develop the skills to better understand it, it's really, really going to help you. And so there's a benefit from leaning into conflict because of that point. Another one is that, you know what, additional perspectives can improve our decision making. Sometimes conflict is about we have a different view, a different perspective. Me learning how to make room for that perspective, I can learn from that perspective. I can get benefit from that perspective. My decisions can be better because of that perspective. Conflict gives me the opportunity to do that. Another one is the issue is difficult conversations, conflict sometimes drives change into my life. that's a good thing. Some of my conversations with my children have driven change in my life. Some of my conversations with my spouse has driven change in my life. Conversation with my boss and evaluation has driven change in my life. That change can be incredibly positive. And so conflict can be an opportunity to get some encouragement and some ability to attack some changes in our life. There's a lot of positive things that come out of conflict. Okay, so now point 5 about why I avoid conflict is the issue of confidence. I lack the confidence to be able to do it well. I lack the confidence to engage the conversation. And again, I just really want to encourage you, we gotta lean into this. Where does confidence come from? Where does self-esteem come from? You need more confidence, you need more self-esteem to be successful in life. Where does confidence and self-esteem come from? Well, I'll tell you what, where it doesn't come from is somebody looking at you and say, you're the best, and handing you a 3-foot trophy. That's not gonna get you the confidence that you need. You gain confidence by doing something that's difficult and getting to the other side of it and accomplishing it. You gain confidence by setting a goal, dealing with the barriers you run into, and accomplishing that goal. That's where confidence comes into. And one of the best environments to learn how to develop confidence is in a conflict. It's in a difficult conversation. You learn how to better make room for the other thoughts, develop skills and tools to make you better at conflict, and your self-esteem is going to increase. Your confidence is going to increase, and that's going to make you a better employee, better in relationships, happier in life. Don't let that back you away. Develop the confidence and the esteem necessary to be effective in conflict. All right, so we've talked about 5 of the reasons that people avoid conflict. And I'm trying to give you insight and understanding to learn how to lean into it. I've talked to you about this road less traveled, M. Scott Peck. We get a path, we get to choose. Am I gonna go down the path that's easier, but ultimately doesn't get me where I wanna go? Or am I gonna take the path that's less traveled, that involves difficulty, but ultimately gets me where I wanna go? I'm exhorting you to choose the road less traveled, that you take serious and reach as it relates to your career development, as it relates to you being better in relationships and teams, that you be proactive about that. I have a resource I want to share with you if you decide that's what you want to do, is take this road less traveled. The document is 9 reasons that difficult conversations are so hard and what to do about it. It's going to empower you to take that road less traveled.